Hello everyone, we are Team Wild West and we are here to talk about our game called Vengeance and Fame. Vengeance and Fame is a real-time strategy card-based game set to be released on the PC platform with the intention of a future console port. Our game is rated E for everyone, so everyone in the family can enjoy the experience. The goal of the game is to control or destroy at least 3 other factions' territories and integrate them into your faction. This is done by manipulation, cohesiveness, war, and economic success or failure. Our 5 mechanics we have based the game off of are memorize and recall, combine, modify, trading, buying and selling, and draw and write. We will expand on each mechanic starting with memorize and recall. Our card-based system allows the player the option to memorize where the enemy line is and how they are able to move. If the enemy exits line of sight, the player will not be able to locate them and will need to understand and memorize their location and where they moved. The player can send secret messages that can give vital information to taking over other factions, but they only last 15 seconds and will be permanently deleted afterwards. This requires the player to memorize what information was given to them. Each faction has their own unique army they can upgrade. By utilizing the combine mechanic, the player can combine 2 army cards to produce a single army card, but at a higher level. This can be done up to 5 times to create a champion for your chosen faction. This is not limited to just army cards. This can be done with resources to create more potent sources of gold generation. Similar to Gwent, each faction has a card set that has card combinations allowing for more diverse play. If instead the player decides they want to overwhelm the other factions with numbers, simply modifying their existing armies will be sufficient. The player has the ability to sacrifice mobility to upgrade the strength of their army cards. Each army starts with 5 mobility points, and you can modify your army's ability by removing the corresponding mobility points. This does not affect the ability to receive a champion for your faction. Gaining a champion is definitely a ticket to winning in a faction war, but the player can win by crippling the other faction's economy. This can be done by buying and selling resources to other factions to gain bonuses to their armies. This gives the player free rein to negotiate with other factions using the trade UI within the game. Resources can be a large factor in how factions can maintain their cities. Risk and Munchkin both have similar trading mechanics that allow win conditions if you trade with the right players. Lastly, players can create their own notes and map paths with the draw and write mechanic. This allows them to plan their paths before the match begins. This plan can be modified in real time to adjust to what the opposing factions are doing. The notes UI is only available to you, unless you open this to an ally faction to view for themselves. The 3 similar games that closely resemble the style of play are Munchkin, Gwent, and Risk. Munchkin for its simplistic card drop style and trading system, Gwent for the fantasy card combinations and faction system, and Risk for its strategy and domination style of gameplay. The factions include humans, avians, cyborgs, golems, and demons. Each faction has their own unique playstyle that allows the player to customize how they want to win over the opponents. The goal is to destroy or take control of the other enemy factions until you are the last one standing. Each faction can decide how they want to destroy their opponent, using your armies as sheer force or total economic failure. The player gets to control the other factions by crippling their economy or destroying the opposing capital entirely. This is achieved by managing resources, armies, and territory effectively to outwit and outmatch your opponent. Thank you very much for your time and attention.